Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good few weeks. I am so excited to be back, and today we're going to be talking about Simone Biles because the Tokyo 2020 Olympics are going on right now, and Biles, who is a gymnastics competitor for the US team, has decided to take a step back from competing in the finals due to mental health reasons that could have put her physical health in danger. Not being in the right headspace, Biles was experiencing something that gymnasts describe as the twisties, which is a mind and body disconnect when you're flipping in the air that can cause you to not be able to control your muscles as well and can lead to serious injury. And due to the nature of the stunts that these performers are doing, it could even lead to being paralyzed or death. And though Biles tried to persevere through this struggle, she ultimately, for the best, decided that she needed to preserve her health. The majority reaction has been positive, and people are being supportive of Biles because she's an incredible person and a hard worker, as well as a decorated athlete. Biles thankfully has a great support system around her as well. However, some people are weirdly mad that she has made this decision. Today we're going to take a look at one of the louder, more annoying voices in that sphere of the conversation. This is Charlie Kirk. Never really heard of him before now, but apparently he's a conservative talk show host who has something to say about Biles stepping down. It feels weird even debating with people on whether or not you should be doing backflips and dangerous stunts while you're not in a good headspace or not mentally healthy, but here goes nothing.
Who's obviously a very talented gymnast, decided not to compete in the gold medal competition. Now, she probably could have just competed and just kind of checked the boxes and they would have got a gold medal.
Starting out great, Charlie, by talking about winning an Olympic gold medal as if it's just waking up and doing it, just like a walk in the park, and that if Simone had competed, she would have won despite her poor mental health, when that's not necessarily true. Though a conservative talk show host is surely an expert on the inner workings of gymnastics competitions, right? I'm not an expert either, but from what I've read, Russia probably would have won gold no matter what, even if Simone had performed. The USA team was actually in danger of winning no medals at all if she had not stepped down.
Simone Biles says, "This Olympic Games, I wanted to be for myself when I came in, and I felt like I was still doing it for other people," as she cried after the team event on Tuesday. So it hurts my heart because doing what I love has been kind of taken away from me to please other people. Yeah, that's the point, Simone Biles. You're representing your nation, you're selfish sociopath. You kidding me? Today it's like, you know what? I'm not going to do something stupid and get hurt. It's just not worth it, especially when you have like three amazing athletes that can step up to the plate and do it. So you know who has the gold medal? Russia.
I don't really understand this mentality of like, USA, America has to be the best nation, the best at everything. I'm sure Charlie Kirk doesn't actually give a crap about gymnastics or even the Olympics. He probably just wanted some pro-America sentiment to feed to his viewers.
You're selfish sociopath?
So let me get this straight. A woman who has worked her entire life to get to where she is in her career, a decorated athlete, is a sociopath because she needs to take care of her mental health? I think Charlie found a new big word this week and wanted to seem smart on the podcast.
Sociopath? She's totally a sociopath. Of course she's a sociopath.
But let's read the definition of a sociopath. A person with a personality disorder manifesting itself in extreme antisocial attitudes and behavior and a lack of conscience. So Simone mentions that she could have hurt herself trying to perform during a mental crisis. She also mentions that gymnastics is something she's done for other people her whole life and is now finally doing it for herself. So taking a step down to prevent injury in a competition that she does for other people to represent her nation means she has a lack of conscience? I would make the argument that her ability to know that she needs to step down for her safety and for her team, and having the strength to step down despite having worked so hard for this for so long and being under such scrutiny in the public eye, means that she is especially conscientious. I also love how Charlie uses sociopath as if it's some sort of gotcha insult, when in actuality, it's just a personality disorder that a lot of people have to just live and deal with. Even if Simone was a sociopath, how would that change that she deserves to be able to care for her mental health over doing flips?
I have to go look at these 4'11" Russian Olympians chewing on their gold medals, smirking at the Americans. I'm not okay with that. But honestly, that's where we're headed.
But Charlie, don't you know, it's our medal. Because apparently it's the 1980s and we're still in a pissing match with Russia, right? I really don't care. Someone tells me Russia won the Olympics, I'm like, cool, good for them. As if winning the Olympics gains the US some sort of advantage on the world stage. Like, okay, Russia, we won the Olympics, will you please stop hacking our government databases? We have the gold medal in gymnastics, so you kinda have to. Also, Russia as a country isn't even technically allowed to compete in the Olympics due to a doping scandal. Of course, the athletes are still competing, but they're not technically representing Russia.
We are raising a generation of weak people like Simone Biles. Again, if you want to be, if she got all these mental health problems, don't show up.
This one makes me mad because Simone Biles is anything but weak. That woman has been a voice of advocacy for sexual abuse victims because she was molested by one of her doctors in her sport. She's won competitions with broken toes. She's worked so hard to become as good as a gymnast as she is that judges don't even know how to score her. This girl has moves named after her because she's the only one to ever be able to perform them. Simone is one of my favorite people, and I won't stand for someone trying to minimize the struggles that she's experienced throughout her career, especially when he has as much talent in his entire body as Simone has in a shit she takes.
She's an incredible athlete. Of course she's an incredible athlete. I'm not saying, I just said she's probably the greatest gymnast of all time. She's also very selfish, she's immature, and she is a shame to the country.
Selfish, weak, immature, shameful. Those are pretty strong words to describe an Olympic gold medalist who has represented her country as one of the most talented athletes of all time for years now, especially coming from somebody who complains about wearing masks, something that a lot of people view as selfish, weak, shameful, and immature.
She's totally a sociopath. Of course she's a sociopath. Andrew said she's not a sociopath. What kind of person skips the gold medal match? Who does that? It's a shame to the nation.
What kind of a person skips a gold medal match? Someone who's in a mental health crisis. Charlie, you're obviously the expert on mental health here, right? Despite your absolute ignorance of the physiological impacts that poor mental health can have on your physical health, from the way you talk, you obviously think you're an expert, right? So I'm guessing your mental health is in tip-top shape, you've never struggled a day, right? Even if that were true, we both know that even on your best day, you would not be able to do what Simone goes out there and does. There's a lot of people saying, oh, if I was in Simone Biles' position, I would have done this or that. You won't be. You never will be. Some people say, oh, the US only won silver. That's bad. Winning an Olympic silver medal is more of an accomplishment than most of us will be able to achieve in our entire lives. Charlie, you're a talk show host who panders to Trumpy alpha males. You will never understand the position that Simone, or any Olympic athlete for that matter, experiences, so you should probably just shut the fuck up.
You just gave a gift to the Russians. Don't show up. If you're not ready for the big time, we got thousands of young female gymnasts that would love to take the place. Thousands.
This makes no sense because that's exactly what she did. Are you saying that she shouldn't have competed in the first place? Because I thought the argument here was that we couldn't win because we don't have Simone, but now you're saying that she just shouldn't compete at all, which by your logic would have had the same results because we couldn't win without Simone? Make it make sense, please. This is such a gross mentality that to be a successful professional, you have to put work and your career over everything else, even your own health. You can't ever falter or have a bad day, even when you're literally at the top of your game. That sounds like the quickest way to career burnout. After this interview, Charlie receives a lot of backlash for obvious reasons, and like the good little shit poster he is, he's riding the wave of hate engagement. He doubled down and posted this episode to his Twitter, saying he stands by everything he says, which is why I don't really believe he gives two craps about the gymnastics or even really the Olympics, and only really gives a crap about all the clicks from the troglodytes that follow his podcast. There's a new big word for you, Charlie. Troglodyte. A person who is regarded as being deliberately ignorant or old-fashioned. If Simone had sprained an ankle and took a step back to take care of herself and prevent further injury, no one would bat an eye. But because her ailment is mental, because you can't see it, it's not as valid of a reason.
Simone Biles just showed the rest of the nation that when things get tough, you shatter into a million pieces.
Simone showed the country that when things get tough, when you shatter, you take care of yourself. You take time to focus on yourself and make sure that you are healthy. Because I say this a lot in my personal life, you can't give anything that you don't have. If you're always giving, and you never stop to fill your own cup, you are eventually going to run dry. You can't give 100% in anything unless you're 100%. So that's really all for today, guys. I need to be done talking about this because this guy is actually giving me a headache. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. It was really great to get back to making videos after my break that ended up being longer than I expected it to be. Comment of the week is from David Lunch. Thank you so much for commenting and for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. And yes, I did hit 400 subscribers, and that is just insane to me. That's so many people to me. Like, I don't know 400 people. Thank you so much for coming and watching my videos. It's awesome to me that people enjoy them and people like what I create. So thank you guys so much. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Don't be a troglodyte. Peace.